Canvas Studio presents a Deerfish production. Tell me, do you like taking out trash? It sure can be stinky and sticky, but it is a vital responsibility that helps keeps the planet clean. Not only is it left to the individual to do their part, but also everyone else. Yet, in this now fast-moving world, most people don't even care and simply toss that trash where they see fit, almost not caring about the consequences that can come from simple littering. Greetings! I am the Storyteller. Tonight I bring to you a tale from my collection of stories, so sit back and relax. Allow yourself to get enveloped by my words and envision the world that comes off from my pages.
Trashman, Trashman, that's who he is. Trashman, Trashman, better be careful. Trashman, Trashman, for if you litter. Trashman, Trashman, trash is what you'll be.
What are you singing? My intention for my brand new video game was given to my friend Darian, who had begun to sing a strange song. Darian shrugged his shoulders.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I overheard some guy singing it, and for some reason it got stuck in my head. Don't you hate that?
Yeah, that does suck. But who the hell is the trash man? Are they singing about the people who come collect the trash every Monday? Darian shrugged again.
Like I said, I don't know.
With that, I returned to my new game, leaving Darian to his strange but soothing tune of a mysterious trash man. The next day after my shift from work, I decided to meet Darian at a local diner. We usually meet each other on Friday nights after work to sit back and chat while drinking. As I sat there waiting for Darian to show up like his usual 5-minute later self, I indulged myself into random messages and posts on social media. Then my attention was taken from that when I heard Darian enter the diner singing that strange but soothing tune.
Trashman, Trashman, that's who he is. Trashman, Trashman.
You're still singing that? I asked.
Yeah, man, it's just so catchy.
Darian sat down across from me. He reached for a menu, quickly scrolling through.
All right, what should I get today?
Why bother? You always pick the same, I spoke. Darian grinned.
Yeah.
He muttered that song under his breath as he looked through the menu.
Trashman, Trashman.
That catchy, huh? Darian nodded his head, not even daring to move his attention away from the menu. I let out another sigh. I've known Darian for many years, and once he gets something stuck in his head, he can't let it go. Still, who was this trash man he kept singing about? I tried searching on my phone as we waited for our server, but found nothing. Just who or what is this trash man? Darian continued to sing the song at a low tone, not wanting to bother the other patrons when suddenly an old man, who could barely walk without his cane, stumbled over to us like a three-legged terrier. "Excuse me, son. Where did you happen to hear that song?" he asked. Darian stopped mid-singing to look at the man. He seemed confused as to why the old man had approached him.
I overheard some guy singing it one day. Why?
"That's a tune I haven't heard in years. I'm surprised there's still those who can sing of it. Though I shouldn't be surprised, for that song is a warning." "A warning?" I asked. Darian raised an eyebrow.
What, that if you litter you'll get in trouble? I think everyone knows that. It's like a $500 fine, right?
The old man waved a brittle hand in the air. "No, boy, this isn't a fine. You wish it were. No, the trash man comes and collects those who dirtied the street." "Collects? So he is a trash man," I replied. Darian shook his head.
No, he collects the ones that litter, man. He's like a cop.
The old man made his place at our table. He shoved Darian further to the wall while he eyed the two of us. "You two need to be careful," he spoke. "That trash man is not someone you should take lightly. For once you litter, he collects you." The old man lifted his head, his eyes pointing at the ceiling. Yes. Yes. It looked as if he could see something that no one else could. Just like he did to Jim. Jim? Who's Jim? The old man brought down his eyes. Jim was someone who didn't listen to the warnings. You see, one night after getting off work, Jim grabbed himself a nice cool beer like most would after a hard day's of work. Yet, he didn't just throw the can away in a trash can. No, Jim did like most would do and threw it on the ground. As he walked down drunkenly, his words slurring as he spoke to the air, he didn't hear the taps coming forth from the darkness. Taps?
So, the trash man is a tap dancer. Man has qualifications.
Darian said jokingly. It wasn't his feet making the tapping. It was his fingers. The old man held up his hands, wiggling his fingers. You see, the trash man's face is covered completely by a black plastic bag. The only thing that's not covered is his nose. They say the trash man littered himself, but was cursed to collect trash forever. Yet for his punishment, his smell was enhanced, so it was the only part of his face that isn't covered.
And that has to do what with fingers?
Darian asked. I'll explain. You see, though he can smell, he can't see, so he reaches out with his fingers, searching and picking up any trash he can. But his fingers had touched the ground so much that they've been worn down to bone. So his bony tips make tappy sounds as they search the ground. Bony tips? I stared at my fingers. The time I burnt my finger while grabbing a pot on the stove without admitting brought back painful memories. I shuddered at the thought of my fingers being whittled down to the bone. The old man nodded. Yes, to the tips. Now, back to the story. Jim didn't hear the trashman's bony taps against the ground. Then, it is said when the trashman found the tossed out can, he let out a muffled yell. Jim didn't have a second to react. He was grabbed by the trashman and tossed into the large trash can that he carries on his back.
Damn. Guess you can say the trash man took out the trash.
Darian said. The old man nodded. Yes, and that trash was never seen again, for whatever the trash man puts in his trash can is never seen or heard from again. That trash can must be huge if it can fit a normal person, I said. The old man shook his head. It is no bigger than a standard one. I say a 44-gallon size one. There are times, however, I heard he had to shove a person into it by breaking every bone in their body. Darian shivered. Though he was a big horror fan, he had never been fond of seeing people's bones break, or even when bones are shown sticking out. It had come from a childhood memory of his when he fell out of a tree and his left arm snapped. Ever since then, Darian never liked seeing or hearing about bones breaking. He covered his ears as the old man went on.
Nah, chill.
The old man gave him a queer look.
Sorry, just broken bones. Ugh, they freak me out.
A weirdly smile formed over Darian. The old man leaned towards him, giving him a vile smile in response. The old man's crooked teeth were revealed during this exchange. Then don't go littering, my boy. The man checked the time on his wristwatch. Well, time to take my leave. Thanks for listening to an old kook story, boys. With that, he took his leave, but not without humming the tune of the Trash Man. Darian and I sat there mulling over the old man's story. To believe the song that Darian had been singing was connected to an old urban legend. Never had I once heard about this growing up, and neither had Darian. But it must have been an old one, for many of the old generation remember the song. Yet I wonder if there are any grains of truth to the story. On our way home, I looked up articles of missing people, even searched for the name Jim in our town, but found nothing. I guess I couldn't find anything if I didn't have the year. Should have asked the old man that, I figured. Darian turned to me, hands in his pockets.
Hey, I was asking you a question.
I glanced up from my phone. Shocked, I stuffed my phone into my pocket. Sorry, man. I couldn't stop thinking about that story.
What, were you looking it up?
I nodded. Yeah, but I can't find anything. Should have asked that old man Jimmy's last name and the year. I let out a sigh.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about it either.
Darian scratched the back of his head.
But I guess that's one of those stories just to scare people. Still, there has to be some truth to it, since most of the old-timers know that song.
Darian then began to ponder something.
Unless it's just catchy.
I walked past Darian, letting out a small chuckle and a smile. Guess you're right. Suddenly, a group of 5 young teenagers of different heights came towards us. I stepped over, putting myself in front of Darian and letting the teens walk past. One of the teens held a fast food cup, his lips pressed on the straw. He took a couple of sips before removing his lips to examine his cup. He shook it, then in a haste tossed it to the ground. I couldn't believe it. How could people just litter like that? I mean, I know there isn't a trash can around, but you just don't throw it to the ground. Darian held out a hand towards the group.
Hey, kid. You shouldn't litter, man. It's not good for the environment. Besides, haven't you heard of the Trashman?
The group stopped to stare at us. I couldn't believe what Darian said. The boy who threw the cup walked over and stomped on it, his fat foot pressing it deeper into the ground. The group laughed before walking off. Darian shook his head.
Teenagers, man.
Hey, we were like that too, I said. Though I never did trash the ground. Darian shrugged.
Yeah.
He took a step past me and started a hum which soon became accompanied by words.
Trashman, that's who he is. Trashman, better be careful. Trashman, for if you litter. Trashman, trash is what you'll be.
I turned to watch the group of teenagers round the corner as Darian sung that song. I felt the chill that day, but thinking it had to be from the breeze at that time, I never expected what I would see on the news the next day. The teen that had tossed the cup on the ground had been killed, or at least that's what his friends had stated that day. Officials considered him to be missing and was conducting a search. The other teens described what happened that night. They gathered from some smokes at a park only to see a tall, slender man coming towards them. He was draped in a black, torn, dingy material that looked like a trash bag. He was hunched over, searching over the ground as horrible taps echoed from his fingers. Dirty chains and ropes were wrapped over his entire body that seemed to hold a trash can on his back. The teens thought it was some homeless man and tried to scare him away. The missing teen threw another cup at him to scare him away, yet that caused the man to only stop and sniff the air. In a quickness they couldn't believe, the strange man reached at the boy. This caused the other teens to freak out. The missing teen screamed out only for the strange man to stuff him into his trash can. With his screams and the gut-wrenching sound of bones cracking, the other teens ran off. With that, the news anchor went on to explain that the police were still going to search, hoping to find the missing teen. I couldn't believe what I heard. I mean, it couldn't be real, could it? It's just not possible. A knock came from my door.
Hey, Justin, it's me.
Darian's voice echoed from the other side. I stared at the door, then back to my TV. The catchy but strange song about the creepy trash man came into my mind. Trashman, that's who he is. Trashman, better be careful. Trashman, for if you litter. Trashman, trash is what you'll be. It appears for Justin and Darian, their town has extra help in cleaning up those streets. I wonder if something like that exists in your world. Would people be more cautious in littering? Or would it just be laughed off as an urban legend? I would like to thank all of you for joining me tonight, and I do hope you enjoyed this tale. This is farewell for now. However, remember these words, everyone. Though these might sound like mere words of fiction to you, for the ones who live within these pages, it is reality.